Okay, gang. How's this looking? A little bit better there. So, keep continuing. Right? So, defining religion and establishing religion's definition from the basis of modern, sort of from the scientific benefits of meditation and prayer, through brain scans, for example, and then the psychological assessment of the benefits of meditation, prayer, and religious participation, devotion, devotional practice, and so on. Then overcomes or demonstrates how Sam Harris is presenting a using what are we talking about here? It's an ad hom fallacy. It's ad hom fallacy and presuppositionalism of religion as dangerous, which is non-scientific, right? It's an unscientific. Where does he get this category of dangerous? He's getting it from his daily experience, that he's just sort of undiscriminating about his use of that concept of dangerous, and so it becomes an unscholarly approach to religion. It is pop philosophy, and its conduct is simply comedic routines. However, it is not being identified clearly as that, based on his playing to popular prejudices, and then the status that's given to him through his book and his post hoc, right? It's actually at that level of post hoc doctorate as a neuroscientist, which he got after his book was published. So it's his talents as an author that, and the popular prejudice, the popularity of his book, which it turns out is based on prejudice. So, I mean, what am I doing here? I'm giving an analysis based on my own understanding my own activity as an activist, based on my own credentials in liberal arts, biological anthropology as an undergraduate, professional experience of various kinds, in social services, financial services, for example, especially, long experiences in eco-social justice activism, and my master's degree in international relations, right? That's who I am. That's my integrity. And you know, it occurred to me, this term that has long inspired me, which is necessary and sufficient. Right? What is necessary and sufficient? I mean, this is a wonderful, and it's got to be a philosophical phrase. I'm not aware of the specific philosophical sort of locus of that phrase. Where does that come from? Necessary and sufficient conditions, necessary and sufficient elements. You know, is this kind of evaluation? I mean, I was just fascinated to see how this philosophical methodology, right? It's essentially a part of philosophical methodology, you know, that could be applied, and that seems to apply and seems adequate and appropriate for scientific and empirical methodological procedures. Faith-based religion is the most dangerous ideology ever invented. Is this a necessary and sufficient assertion? Well, it might be necessary because there are dangerous groups, okay, that this applies to, but there are dangerous ideologies using religion, faith-based religion. Okay, so maybe it's a necessary phrase in the sense that it is appropriate, right? It empirically identifies some group of people. So, okay, it's a necessary phrase. However, is it sufficient? And the term sufficient exposes the fallacious nature of this assertion. It is not sufficient. It is not a sufficient evaluation of religion as a term. It is an attempt to commit a part-whole fallacy based on stereotypes. Okay, so, and I think I was mentioning in the other video already that Harris-Hedges then works from monotheism, kind of failing. He doesn't really make distinctions between, he tries to avoid, it seems, making distinctions between Islam and Judaism and Christianity as the Abrahamic monotheist religions. But ultimately, I think that's a mistake. I think Christianity needs to be recognized for its accomplishments, which is simply a matter of integrity. And since the sequence of, say, a university-based society, the origin of university-based society is not atheist, is not anti-religious humanism. It is all Christian. These are all Christian-related developments, with atheists simply popping up at various points. And since we've defined religion and justified the spiritual experience and supernatural phenomena, transcendental phenomena, non-material, immaterial phenomena, then we have then the clarity, sufficient clarity to observe the embeddedness that humanism, the development, say in Petrarch, of humanism, the valuing of ancient Greek and Roman knowledge and literature, for example, with Petrarch being sort of this common reference for the development of modern humanism. We might go back to Cassiodorus, or we need to ultimately. That needs to be set in a provisional context, because Cassiodorus in the 500s, in the 6th century AD, is a fundamentally important figure in the development of modern university-based education. And I think I can source Pierre Durham on that, at the very least. Cassiodorus, and then perhaps Benedict of Nursia. But so then we need to be clear that the development of university-based modern philosophical knowledge, the community, the activity, the methodologies, as the basis then for what has now spread around the world to other cultures, that is a Christian development based on, and then I think we have an interest to really specify the relationship between, what does that depend on? What does that reflect? So let me check here. Okay, so I'm going to end here.